Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Camel, and more importantly, welcome back to the Elder Scrolls Detective Series, a series in which we investigate, curate, speculate, hypothesize, theorize, and quite often simply highlight and discuss cool, interesting, and hidden things that can be found within the Elder Scrolls games. Today's investigation entails the discussion of the mysterious Thomas of Skyrim. Now you're probably thinking this, or perhaps this, or something like this, but no. This Thomas is completely Steam-free, and to begin this tale we'll need to make our way to the sleepy town of Riverwood, a town we all know and love, the first point of civilization we encounter as a free man or woman in Skyrim. I'm sure we all know the familiar quests and locations dotted around this riverside town. Well, we'll be heading up the mountain to one of them, but let's stroll because it's pretty. As we cross the bridge from Riverwood towards the west, at the base of the mountain we can find evidence of ancient Nordic structures, a foreshadowing of what's to come. While we dawdle up this picturesque pass, we'll run into a wolf, and if we're lucky, 2 wolves. While this isn't amazing or rare, we will come back to our fanged friend much later on in the video. For now, let's walk on up the hill. Soon enough, we'll encounter this first bandit outpost in this ruined tower. A mere sentry compared to what is over the hill. I'm sure you know where this is going. Bleak Falls Barrow, a dungeon that we all know and probably don't love. Everyone has come here at some point, whether it was to get the Golden Claw, the Dragonstone Tablet, or perhaps even both at once. I am certain that everyone who has played Skyrim has been here at least once. It's the first structure you see as you escape Helgen, standing vigilantly atop the mountain as you make your way to Riverwood. In fact, it's probably so familiar you're sick of this ancient ruin. You know every twist, corner, turn, every chest, enemy and alchemical ingredient to be picked. Bleak Falls Barrow, a dungeon you probably know better than the back of your own hand. Filled with bandits and Draugr, yeah, we know it all. But I'm both afraid and excited to tell you that Bleak Falls Barrow may have just hidden something away from you. Here, in this skylit chamber, a bridge, a waterfall, a large shaft leading all the way to the surface. This is where the hidden secret lies. But where? Exactly. That's why you've probably never seen him. What we need to do is make sure we are level 18 or higher when we first enter Bleak Falls Barrow. Once you are level 18 or higher, a troll will spawn on this bridge, which is vital. We'll get more onto how ridiculous this is later on, but being level 18 when you first enter Bleak Falls Barrow, who does that? Anyway, now that we've done that, now that we've come to Bleak Falls Barrow at the very specific level of 18 or higher, the troll is here. And I sense something. I sense Thomas. Up at the opening of the cave roof, there will now be a rope, it seems, hanging down into the chamber. But why? And by whom? Well, Thomas is right here, on screen. You probably can't see him. I promise he's right here in the middle of the screen. How about if I set the game's field of view to 10? There we go, see him? Right there, up on the cliff ledge. Thomas. Thomas is a level 1 male bandit wizard, belonging of course to the bandit faction. From this we can surmise that Thomas was a bandit. But what's he doing in here? Why is he dead on this ledge? That's the question. Well, on his body we can find some simple items. However, there is this, a note to Thomas. It reads, Thomas, you know the troll pit we discovered the other day that everyone's been talking about? Hit the beast with one of your fireballs from the top, climb down and bring back its head. That should prove once and for all that you deserve to be the number 2 man. Good luck and be careful, you know how slippery it is up there. Signed, Loraine. So, Thomas came into this, and I quote, troll pit, to slay the troll that dwells within. He was supposed to kill the troll, shimmy down into the cavern, cut off its head, and return that very head to his camp of fellow bandits, proving that he is worthy of being the number 2 man. A couple of things that should be addressed here. Firstly, he was meant to kill the troll by hitting it with a fireball from the top, then go down and get its head. Well, the troll obviously isn't dead yet. Yet, he already has made his way down into the cave. Secondly, Thomas is a bandit wizard, and he knows the alteration spell Oak Flesh, the destruction spell Flames, Sparks and Frost, and the restoration spells Healing and Lesser Ward. Notice how he doesn't actually know the spell Fireball, which is what was described in the note. Again, I quote, "Hit the beast with one of your fireballs." Yeah, well, just like Thomas, that plan fell through as soon as he realized he didn't know that spell in the first place. Maybe he had lied to his fellow bandits, talking himself up to be a better wizard than he actually was. They thought he knew Fireball, they told him to use Fireball to kill the troll, and one thing led to another. But poor old Thomas here slipped, fell, and he died in this dungeon, I suppose making its name quite literal, Bleak Falls Barrow. And it looks like he wasn't the first either, but this note, it is signed by someone named Loraine. Now sadly, I have searched the Imperial Library and the only place in all of the Elder Scrolls lore where Loraine is mentioned is in this letter. There is no character in Skyrim or any other Elder Scrolls game called Loraine, so the origins of this note are unknown. Beyond that, of course, it was written to Thomas from Loraine. We'll also never know which bandit camp Thomas belonged to. Who was he trying to prove himself to? Who was the number 1 man? Who was the current number 2 man? We'll just never know. Now, if we resurrect or spawn Thomas using the console, he will be hostile, as he belongs to the bandit faction, who are of course naturally hostile towards the player. However, and boringly, when calmed, he has no unique lines of dialogue either, making him a real blast to talk to. Also, interestingly, when pitted against the troll, he uses frost magic instead of fire. This makes me think he really doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Of course, trolls are weak against fire, so you'd use fire, right? No, not Thomas, he uses frost. But when I'm out of the equation and stop distracting the troll, let's see how Thomas handles the beast. Well, that was rather definitive, wasn't it? Thomas got clubbed harder than a baby seal. If Thomas had made it all the way down, he would have been added to the collection of dead guys that are already here. Anyway, Thomas is a mystery. He doesn't know the spell he was supposed to kill the troll with. He climbed into the pit even though he hadn't yet killed the troll. And this Loraine and his bandit gang are all unknown too. Maybe some of these bandits outside Bleak Falls Barrow are the gang that Thomas belonged to. Perhaps one of these female bandits is the Loraine we've been looking for. Unfortunately, we'll just never know. So on top of being a mysterious man who found himself in a weird situation, on Bethesda's design side of things, actually encountering Thomas is almost impossible. For him to spawn, you need to be level 18 or higher when you first enter Bleak Falls Barrow. Now I will add a little disclaimer here. The troll and Thomas are supposed to spawn if you enter/re-enter Bleak Falls Barrow at any point in the game, provided you have then hit level 18 or higher. However, this doesn't work. They both only spawn if you enter for the first time once you've reached that level. And given that we are sent to Bleak Falls Barrow for the Golden Claw quest, which you'll likely get at level 1, and you're also sent here for the Dragonstone Tablet quest, which you'll likely get around level 1 to 5, given it's the 3rd quest in the main questline, and the 2 quests before it involve absolutely nothing. So 2 of the very first quests in the game will send you to Bleak Falls Barrow, and unless you've done something very strange, you will be much lower than level 18 the first time you come here. So the chances of you being 18 plus when you first enter Bleak Falls Barrow is, dare I use made up stats, but I swear it's like 1 in 100 chance of that happening. Almost everyone would come here well before level 18. Now not only do you need to do that very unlikely thing of coming here at a very specific level, but you also need to actually spot Thomas, who, unlike my moustache, isn't exactly eye-catching. He's up on a ledge behind the tunnel that you walk out of, so you'd never spot him unless you actively walked through the room, turned completely around and looked up and looked hard for a good 30 seconds. Then you'd have a chance of spotting his body, which blends into the cave wall ever so well. Then, even if you do spot him, getting to his body is no easy task. You can get his corpse down with the use of arrows, shouts and/or spells, and only then will you be able to interact with Thomas's corpse and read the note, which even that doesn't tell us much. So I am sad to conclude that Thomas is just too damned mysterious for us to decide what his full story is. Was Loraine his lover, perhaps? Did Thomas tell his fellow bandits that he knew the fireball spell, therefore they thought he could handle the troll? Is that why he made his way down into the cave before actually killing the beast? Because he knew that he'd have to fight it one-on-one. Again, because he didn't actually know the fireball spell. Was he just an average bandit who found a stash of low-level spell tomes, teaching himself things like Lesser Ward and Sparks, while not actually being an accomplished wizard? If that is so, that would explain why he used a frost spell against the troll when he was spawned. Of course, frost trolls are weak against fire, so any wizard with any brains would use a fire spell. Not Thomas though. That, to me, highlights he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Perhaps Loraine knew that Thomas didn't know what he was doing, that's why she told him to do it. She knew he'd be killed trying to perform such a task. So many theories, all of course viable theories. But there is one other theory that I don't buy, but it has been thrown around here and there. Some believe that Thomas is a reference to the movie Conan. At the beginning of Conan, Conan runs into some wolves and then makes his way into an ancient Nordic burial site. Well, remember earlier on in the video when we ran into this wolf and possibly wolves as we were making our way up to Bleak Falls Barrow? Well, according to this theory, it is suspected that Thomas ran into these wolves, had to flee, and then made his way into this ancient Nordic burial chamber, Bleak Falls Barrow. Now, I don't think that this is accurate, nor do I think that this is an Easter egg, because the note on Thomas's corpse shows that his descent into Bleak Falls Barrow was premeditated. Anyway, whichever theory suits you best, rest assured that Thomas is now in Sovngarde, troll-free, and hopefully with Loraine. I do hope that you have enjoyed the tracking down of this elusive character, the bandit wizard who doesn't know Fireball, Thomas. Be sure to let myself and others know if you have come across Thomas before. If you have any information, facts, evidence, speculation, theories, or anything to do with shedding some light on Thomas, be sure to leave a comment. If you do have any ideas or something that you would like to be covered in an Elder Scrolls Detective series video, be sure to let me know, or look into whatever strange and wonderful topics you present. If you did enjoy this video, please do me a kindness and leave a like. It makes a video look good. Leave a comment with all of your Elder Scrolls Detective ideas, and your theories about Thomas, the Not a Tank Engine. And of course, if you did enjoy this video and you would like to see more videos similar to this one, please subscribe. It helps me know that people do enjoy these kind of videos and in the long run will result in more of them. Be sure to click the little bell icon next to that subscribe button right here on YouTube so you are notified when a new Elder Scrolls Detective video is uploaded. Other Elder Scrolls Detective video links can be found in the description. Down there is also a link to my social medias, including Twitter and Patreon. Be sure to hit them up if you are keen in supporting the channel, and be sure to follow to keep up to date with what I'm up to. All my time and energy goes into making these videos I create for you, and your support is greatly appreciated in any and all forms. Feel free to check out the playlists on screen. Thanks for watching, thank you for supporting the channel, and I will see you very shortly in the next video. I'll see you there.